Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the breakfast show, Money Talk with SmartRobie. I'm your host, Martin Wong. Now, last night we saw the Dow Jones fell 300 points because of some jobless claim. But I think what was really behind the story why we see Dow Jones, this is my personal belief, is because they are going to cut the so-called COVID-19 funding or relief, which is supposed to due, and that's why the Republicans and the Democrats will fight it out in the House of Senate. So they hasn't agreed yet. So that's one of the reasons why you see the corrections, or we can call it the Dow Jones corrections in here. But how is it panning out in our market this morning? I think many of you know, just check the indicator here, the 1600, right? That's the level that it is trying to sustain and hold. Yesterday the futures closes 1625. I haven't seen it this morning yet, so I don't know how bad was it. But let's look at the highlight for today and the stories that I have with you. And of course, if those of you who have just joined us from the UOB Kay Hang Talk, which I did yesterday night, welcome again. And this is the Money Talk show where we talk about the KLSE headlights, corporate news that will put money in your pocket by SmartRobie. Of course, those of you who are listening for the first time, I really appreciate if you could share this video in your timeline, and also if you don't have a copy, do download. And also I'd like to make a small request. Those of you who have downloaded SmartRobie, please go over to our Google Play Store and of our Apple iStore, and please give us some good feedback in there. I really appreciate that, and because your feedback is important and how we improve our services for you at Absolutely FOC. That's right. So please do that and go over to Google Play Store and give us a good feedback, so we will work harder for you. That's right. So let's look at the news where we have today, and which is going to be quite interesting. All right, let's move on to our segment right now. And so let's have our headline, and no other than plantation sector. That's right. Now remember, plantation sector, it's actually in the headline now. It's partly because due to the again UOB Kay Hang, which is one of the company that we're working very closely with SmartRobie, and this research report was pretty timely too. It talks about the analysts raising the CPO prices partly in tandem with the crude oil prices. So you can see up there, we are talking about 2020 forecast of 2,400. We haven't reached there yet. It's still short of 2,300. So that's why when they raise the prices, you can see some of the stocks we talk about. I think on Wednesday, those of you who have followed me would have known those least step. I'm going to give you those share towards down the road in there, so they're moving up nicely. And also, this is the reason they're giving the report, also due to the recovery of the prices by China and India replenish their low inventory, because after all, with the COVID-19 they couldn't ship. Maybe now they're starting to open up a bit and they're going to buy more CPO prices. Do take note also, I think those of you who came on Wednesday, the biggest buyer of CPO prices are no other than India, China and EU. US has their own soya bean, so they tend to buy from themselves. So also report mentioned with a better yield because due to the weather. That's right. And so they did mention two big players that will benefit in the same report are Sundabi Plantation and Hapsing Plantation. Now, how many of you have those two stocks? If you have those two stocks, key it in and do let me know. I'm really interested to know, if you have these two stocks or the smaller retail that we talked about earlier. That's right. Okay. Now, also, let's move on to the next story. Is no other than Bursa Exchange, right? Bursa Exchange. So the Bursa has outperformed global peer, and also in this morning news they talk about Top Glove being almost number one and number two, just behind Maybank. You just remember before this, Top Glove was nowhere to be found. Now it's one of the largest cap, and it also caught the headline of Bloomberg. Shabas, I would say, to Top Glove. No doubt there were a bit of the hiccups that you see, but I think Tan Sri Lim will sort it out with the US Customs and Border. Everything will on the go, and I hope those of you like me, myself, who have rubber glove, I still have a bit, I don't have all, will benefit from that. But you want to watch what I've said about the rubber glove sector, go over to YouTube. Now, this report basically talk about the highest record of volume, which was actually driven by retail investor. That's right. So you have the surge of 12.5 billion, and as such, remember last Friday we have the trading halt at 3:30 on Bursa. It's just that too many of you guys, that's right, I'm referring to you, really caused the Bursa to jam up. Why I always say that? Because you and me, we are all retail investors, right? Everyone who have a little SmartRobie, they have an online trading account, they will buy and they'll trade. Well, in a way, if you know how to move in and out using the trade idea, which we will talk about in our premium alert, that will certainly help you a bit. And that's what causing, which is a good problem in my case, that Bursa has this trading hop in there. So the trading fees are actually driving Bursa exchange revenue. That's this report, and the analyst is giving $11.20 for and I know many of you say, Martin, why so expensive on this kind of stocks? Got anything cheaper, less than $1? Yes, we have. We're going to come back to it. So this is Bursa. You can take a look at Bursa on here. So you can see Bursa chart is pretty nice. You can see that. All right, man. Now let's look at the stock chart that we have here, and I'm just going to blow it up for you. So you can see the Pentagon came in very early, somewhere on the early July. You can see that big Pentagon in there. So it really paid reward to follow Pentagon. And one of the stocks I did talk about in UOB yesterday, a case study, was on Bioalpha, right? And I think in our Telegram chat room and also in our members, those of you who caught that gold ball, congratulations. I think you made more than 100% on Bioalpha. It is only possible because Trade VSA with SmartRobie doing the algorithm trading detected the smart money movement using the green Pentagon, and best of all, it's absolutely free. All you gotta do is just share with your friend, and you can use it, forever, right? So we make these services available, and also our breakfast show. I believe we have done a good job. You have done a good job. Please share this in your timeline and give me a thumbs up. So we will continue to work harder. But the least you can do for me is give me a good review on SmartRobie, so we'll continue to serve it much better in here. All right. So you can see. So the question is right now. Let's look at let's look at the stock prices right now on Bursa, and you hit the live stock prices. How much is the stock prices now? Okay, so now it's $10 $9.90. So 11. What is the analyst target price? 11.20. So we have almost perhaps almost 12%, 11% gain. Do you like it? Like it, and then just use the trading plan and time it. Let's move on to our next story, shall we? Now, next story, talk about tech sectors. Very important. Now, very important. What we have done over here in the Trade VSA as well as SmartRobie is to help our reader and many of you to help you to rotate the sectors out. I think yesterday we clarified with it. So the story revolved around, but tech sectors now record new high, and because of an upbeat chip equipment prospect. Now the story talks about from covered by the Edge and also the Star. It talks about the forecast spending on the chips manufacturing equipment in 2020-2021, apologize for the typo error, will reach 70 billion. That's right. So with the post-COVID recovery, so we're going to see that even people will be using more. Why? Very simple. Digitization, right? Because of digitization, people are scary. And this morning on CNN, I did watch the CNN town hall, and Bill Gates came out. I hope some of you catch him this morning. He talks about the COVID-19 and the vaccine and some of the issues that we'll have. And he felt, of course, he's from Microsoft, a bit bias. He will say digitization is the way to go, and Microsoft had done pretty well, the same as Apple. So I'm going to talk about this more on further information just right here. So make sure you catch me at the end of this show in here. But the report did not tell you this. So I've done a bit of research for you guys, and make sure you catch me tomorrow. That's why today is Friday. It's all because of the growth in the server. That's right. Not many people know about the growth in the data center and the storage. And one of the stocks I did bought for my clients, and I will tell you now, you should take a look at it, is DC Capital REITs. Okay, write that down. DC Capital REITs. They have a lot of data centers in Singapore. It's like property, but not focused in commercial, not focused in shopping mall, but focus in data center. Now, if you look at the Kage, almost 12%. That's the one you had. I made some money on that one. So just letting you know, Alibaba Cloud, it's here. AWS is here. AWS referring to Amazon. So catch me on Saturday 2 o'clock, I'll talk more about these sectors in here, the data center. There are a lot more centers, a lot more sectors, so make sure you talk about it. All right, let's move on to the next story, which is talking about the Malaysian dividend. Okay, Malaysian dividend has slash dividend. Of course, like COVID-19, many of them have this issue, they're not able to pay out. Then the report talks about the dividend payment has been slashed by almost 31%, almost one third to 3.4 billion from 4.9 billion year on year. And some of this is citing because lack of demand for their products, they need to pay. And I think many of you are in that situation now. How many of you has sort of had a pay cut? If you have a pay cut, just type cut, C-U-T. At least I do know this one in here. Okay, there's a lot of vibration, is it? Okay, so thanks a lot, John, for highlighting it. Maybe my hands are too close to the table. Okay, thank you. So is it better now, John? Okay, so let's move on to the next story that we have is that not so much the next one, still wrong. The question is dividend a good benchmark to buy a share? Just like BAT, although I did not write about BAT or cover the story, BAT are citing during the COVID-19, not people are smoking, and you all know you have the e-cigarette issue. Nestle is also affected by it. Just look at 100 plus and you look at Coca-Cola in US where they sell a lot of Coca-Colas, and it's more like a proxy to 100 plus. People are not going to the shops to buy, and that will effect 100 plus is not part of Nestle, it's Milo okay, so just use it as a proxy. F&N have 100 plus, Nestle has Milo, Maggi, BAT has all the secrets. Okay, keep in mind. So the question goes back to, is dividend a good benchmark to buy? Those of you, especially those of you who are from the senior, do you think holding dividend is good? I think there is still a valid reason to hold dividend, but do take note of some of the growth stock which we just talked about in the previous story for that. What do you all think? Is dividend good to hold? Just type in there dividend or not. All right. Now let's move on to our next story. Is no other than Pharmaceutical. All right, now Pharmaceutical has a big run yesterday, and this is due to this story of about a Bioalpha, which I visited about a year or two plus ago. So they talks about the big contract that they won, close about 450 million per year for 5 years contract, and to supply health food product to China. So this is a big win for them. So suddenly all the pharmaceutical same time together with COVID-19, the vaccines and so forth. So this story talk about the fund manager mentioned, which is also one of my sifu. I used to work in the same office. No name mentioned, the fund manager in here, and he mentioned about the profit taking due to the speculation in here. Now some of these may or may not tie to COVID-19 vaccine, but like people say healthcare ramp up first, and this is because you see all this ramping up is due to high trading volume. Now that's right. So when you see high trading volume, prices are pretty critical. All right. So also analysts do say that some of these stocks are good fundamental stock and pay dividend. Now let's take a look at it. Okay, shall we? So we have YSP. I know they pay pretty good dividend. This one of the Taiwanese company. They have their office HQ in Tanam Tun, near the old IBM tower in there. YSPAH. That's right. The full code. Okay, YSP here. So we look at the stock fundamental in there. I don't think it's cheap already after it gone up so much. Now it's only rated 1, but it does pay a 3% dividend. It's overpriced because of the big run up that we see. Now let's look at also the stock charts in here, and again, right, you can see, wow, look at that one. Okay, the big push. It was nice. You can see there, right on just early July, we can see those volumes are very small, and then the market makes a big move, and you can see right now from 210 all the way to 290, that's almost 30% and so forth. All right. So this company, like it's not cheap. No, it's not how do I say, cheap or expensive, but you have to wait for the pullback. I think the pullback is coming. That's why we see the profit taking. So the other one you have there is Pharma-Niaga. All right, let's look at Pharma-Niaga. Okay, before that it may be good fundamental. Let's look at the stock fundamental in here. So you can see stock fundamental is wow, we're still losing money. So I don't know why they call it a strong fundamental. Okay, maybe not the Pharma-Niaga, maybe Duopharma. Let's look at Duopharma. Okay, Duopharma. losing money. Maybe after this round with the COVID-19 given from the government, they may go into black again from red. This one is making money, 10% ROE. So out of the two, Duopharma is better but still rated a 1. Of course, chart will be very, very similar to what we just saw in yeah, that's right, it's what we saw in YSP, the Taiwanese pharmaceutical in here, really gone up. This one actually, if you ask from a trade VAC expert like me this one is a goner already it's time to take profit or look for something else. That is why one of our show in here is to look for stocks that hasn't moved, so you can also benefit too for that one. Okay, let's move on to our next story that we have here. Is no other than a little smaller company, integration technology, a little bit based in here, unlike not like VStack. VStack already fly. Okay, so in this story, talk about a really small company, Velogen, bags 8.5 million contracts in here, and you know, it's just worth mentioning in here. Now this one, it's very interest to me. Vivacom. Now, how many of you heard of Vivacom? Okay, now Vivacom is always been one of my case study that we always do in Trade VSA as education provider in here. We want to highlight to you, there are a lot of this what so-called pump and dump and you know, like it or not, unfortunately Vivacom fall into that history, because I was really tracking this stock way back in 2005 2006, and how, you know, this analyst, the same analyst that you see on this chart here, talk about the corporate governance and analyst company, and the analyst was involved. They got hold of the annual report, they released the report even before Vivacom released in the Bursa, and somehow that report was taken out, and later on, you know, the analysts were reprimanded and so on and so forth. So that was in 2016, and fast forward today to 2020, that's almost 4 or 5 years later, count 1 or 2 months or so. So you can see that stock, at that time I still remember, this stock can go to 76 cents, and the analyst went on to the radio station, a local business radio station, and at that time was around 26 cents. He said, wow, this one can go 70 cents because of project A, project B, project C, just like what you see, all those, the reports that you see on newspaper. Okay, and right now, where is Vivacom? Right, Vivacom is nowhere to be found. Now, those of you who have Vivacom, and now just type Vivacom in there, so at least I would know that you know, you will get caught into it. But lesson to be learned around here. Okay, so when you get reverse split on this case, on this news, 10 to 1, your 10 shares become 1 share, which means your price a bit up, but your pie gets smaller. It's actually a very, very, you know, bad, like Top Glove and Hata, I think Top Glove, Hata or Kosan, they are doing a bonus split. So because the price went up so much, they decided to split. So you can see the other way around in it. All right, so be careful of good news. Okay, so that's something I hope you'll learn today. Okay, now let's move on to our more popular section, where some people are talking about me, what are the shares to buy. Now, do take note, yesterday on Wednesday we covered the segment that the KLCI will likely go to corrections, is because partly of the COVID-19 vaccine has been discovered, and also a couple of news which is coming out from US and Donald Trump, you know, being a good boy right now. All right, so we picked those stock. Notion VTech, it hasn't got much. Opensys has a small minus 2.5%, and today we have picked, okay, we have picked this stock which actually came out, right, it's Karex. That's right. You know, Karex have always been condom makers. Who knows? You know, they might just announce, hey, we are going to, rather than making 5, condom only, condom got 5, isn't it? Right? This one they will make 1. Okay. So who knows? Maybe they will go into rubber glove. They haven't announced yet. I don't know yet, but it just came out in here. Let me just show you Karex. Okay, so how do I do that? I'll go back to main menu. I'll go to premium alert. I'm not sure because the 931, the one Care Plus started to move. Hexa THS. Okay, that I will talk about THS. Misty, that's the one we picked right last week. Sudah jalan already. Okay. Masing Jaya Tiasa. Comax still running. I think it went up. EG Askutek Go Ocean. So I have picked Notion VTech. Let's look at Notion VTech. No, not Notion VTech. Sorry, I picked Karex. Let's look at Karex for the stock price. So I know some of you are already writing down Karex can buy or not. Okay. So we look at the stock price, and we'll hit here, and that takes you to the Trade VSA trading view. All right, charts, and we look at the charts then. Now some of you may ask me how to buy this stock, how to read the chart. I have a tutorial. Just on the next slide, just hold on a bit, and we're going to go to that one. Okay, so it's up 2% here. I'm going to hit that one, and it will take us to the real-time charts. Okay, the charts I have in TradingView are real-time charts. All right, so you can see here Karex, nicely done, has a line change, and it did turn very early. You can see the Pentagon guider much earlier here. Okay, so that's good. Okay, the next share that I really like here, Plantation, I already talked about it, so I'm not going to pick. Opensys already picked. Masing Property, Jaya, Tiasa, Komak, EG. Okay, industrial product. Let's look at Tedmax Acoustic. Is the rubber glove. Tedmax, that one I think it's a UMNO counter. Okay, SM Track, that one is a pure smart money one. Can make money. But let's look at 8907. Okay, 8907. Let's look at the stock price. Okay, wow, 8% up. Okay, let's take a look at that one. And EG stock. Okay. Okay, EG. Oh, this one has gapped up a lot. Let me see. This one is an hourly chart. Let's switch to a daily chart. Yep, it gets up in here. This one already run too much. I think not good. We want to see one that is haven't Hexa. Let's look at Hexa 127. Some people don't like it. They say too pricey. Prolexus. Let's look at Prolexus. Okay, 89. Okay, 4% still okay lah. I haven't run that big yet. Okay, let's move on to Prolexus. Okay, the chart comes out. Okay, Prolexus is the one. No doubt he has run, but the momentum is still there. So we will select Prolexus. Okay, and we're going to come back on Monday. Okay, let me just write this down so I'll know it for short. So Prolexus is the stock that I picked, and also Karex for the rubber glove. So those are those two. All right. So let's move on to the other things that people talk about. How do I pick those stocks? So if I pick those stocks, go to this YouTube tutorial, talk about the methodology and also the good win rates. Okay, so you can see here most of the stocks that we pick, 2/3 of it are win with the average gain of almost 9% in here. Of course, we do have losses, so you can see on the left hand side, the blue one is the loss distribution, but the wins are much bigger. We win bigger, we lose smaller, and we win more. Okay, we lose smaller. That's the principle. Cannot all win one. I know some people say I want to win. That's why we are very realistic. Being an educational provider in here, we show all our trades big. We hope you all learn something from here. Your trading will be along the same line too. So you don't. What we're trying to do is try to measure and the user experience and also the user interaction too. I think that's important too. I know some of you may have attended a lot of other courses and seminar provider where they really promise you the sky. By the time you come out, you say, "Oh, this one need a bit of improvement." Okay, let's move on to the next story. Okay, so don't forget, today all the plantation sudah jalan already. So if you have not caught me to talk about the plantation counters, this video here is available on Trade VSA YouTube. Just go over to YouTube, type Trade VSA and subscribe. So I talk about these 4 companies: FGV, THS, Taan, and R Survey. I think THS moved yesterday, today also moved. Taan is moving today, right now. We can check the Taan now. Let's look at Taan. Okay, TAANN. Okay, let's look at Taan. Taan is, stock price. Okay, Taan is up 3%. Okay, and TSH. Okay. Now, I know many of you may ask, is it the right time to buy plantation stock? More important is whether you want to buy or don't buy. That's not important. The important is belajar first. Have the skill to analyze. I think that's important because we want to upgrade your software of your brain. How you function, how you use SmartRobie, how you use the tool, how you use those information you learn. More important. It's not like, oh, I want to buy now and quickly jump in. Don't ever do that. Upgrade your thinking, and if you upgrade your thinking well, you're able to follow many of this information, and then you will be a better investor and trader. And that's always been one of the goals that we do in our show here. All right, so let's move on to next. Okay, and this is the one that I will talk about, the data center, the next sector to watch. So make sure you catch me tomorrow at 2 p.m. because we will be doing the Market Compass Free Talk Series. That's right, on the 25th of July, the next sector trend to watch, 2 p.m. And on the 1st of August will be the what are those stocks we talk about. And then finally, how to time it. So we're going to teach you all those in the 3 talk series. Make sure you share this, take a photo of this, share with your friend and get them to come and register for this talk. Go over to the Trade VSA Trading Idea Telegram. There is invitation in there. We have some limited seats in there, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so these are the 3 talk series, and how to find those right opportunity right now in there. Make sure you catch it tomorrow at 2 to 5 p.m. and I'm going to be preparing a great show for you, especially for you, because you are a great supporter of SmartRobie, and we do all we can to tell you where is the next sector going for. And best of all, it's absolutely free, unlike some people they charge. We don't charge at all. Okay, so make sure you share that with your friends. All right, there are some people who are asking how to get registration things. Please join our Trade VSA free stock information in there. Do share with them and take a photo of this one here. That will keep you updated at all times. Okay, so with that all having said that, I'll see you tomorrow 2 p.m. for the Market Compass 3 series talk for our first one, the sector to watch out for 2021. And goodbye and thank you. Bye bye.